fault. I don't even worry about it, man. Cause motherfucker don't want to see you do good, right?
No, man. No, man.
Motherfucker do not want to see you do good.
No, man. You just gotta keep it pushing, man.
Huh?
You gotta keep it pushing, man.
That's it. That's it.
What you got going on this weekend?
Huh?
What you got going on this weekend?
Shit, ain't no telling what me and Coach Jack gonna end up at.
But they are emptying now.
Yeah, they ain't gonna tell what we gonna end up at.
It's incredible, Scott, how quickly that crowd emptied out. When we were talking just moments ago, it was packed. And now when we just saw it recently, you know, you can see that that area has been cleared. I can hear the yelling behind you, Scott. No doubt this is a difficult, frightening moment for everyone who was there, everyone across the country who was watching, for there to be shots to have been fired toward the president. And at this point, it's too early to know exactly what happened. We saw him reach up and touch his head. We don't know if he was hit. We don't know if he was grazed. We don't know if someone else was hit. You just told us, Scott, that you saw an ambulance at the scene. But this is a moment that is going to change the trajectory of this campaign.
Yep, that's it.
Already.
29, 27, that's
really
it.
been on this campaign on the side of President Biden. Now we are talking about the unthinkable, potentially former President Trump on stage as shots ring out here in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Scott, can you tell us a bit of what you're seeing now? What are people yelling behind you?
That shit's so serious. My man wasn't gonna let me in because I had a
We're yelling at us. Some of the members of the crowd are gesturing towards us and screaming vulgarities of the media. We're all in a row here on the rafters above the stage, above the seating area. But I can see police or law enforcement of some sort, Secret Service, state police or county police, moving the crowd out. They're getting everybody out of here, which raises a few possibilities, doesn't it, Adriana? If they have to collect some type of evidence or investigate some type of incident, some type of crime, if these were, in fact, gunshots, are they concerned about everybody's safety as people are now moving in aimless directions, bumping into each other, bumping into tossed equipment? There's a lot of debris around here, too. People just hit the ground. Chairs were toppled. We jumped beneath our elevated stage, cameras,
What'd you say now?
tables fell on top of us. It was a chaotic moment. I don't think that's overstating it. Once everybody recognized 2 or 3 seconds in, these might be gunshots. It was a sequence.
That's crazy.
A fast sequence of explosions. As if somebody had lit off
But I'ma tell you,
firecrackers.
I'ma tell you something, right?
And it's easy to conflate firecrackers with some types of gun rounds. But once everybody recognized something was afoot here, when the Secret Service moved in to former President Trump, everybody recognized the severity of the situation. And there were people moving in different directions, running into each other, or just face planting into the grass or into the ground. And you can see, still, from my vantage point on the other side of this camera, people in tears, people hugging each other, people comforting each other. That's the scene in Butler County, Pennsylvania, where there was to be a marathon rally of former President Trump that only got 5 minutes in before this incident
Man, I ain't getting on
occurred.
no plane.
Scott, what you're describing is horrific. This is the worst possible scenario at an event like this. Our politicians are supposed to be able to address the public in a safe environment, and that is why there is so much security. The security that you've described, people being wanded down, having their bags checked just to get into that area. And, you know, we understand why tensions are so high, why people are so emotional there. This is really just, it's a tragic moment. And when you were there, when it happened, Scott, you mentioned it sounded like firecrackers. How long did it take for people in the crowd to realize what was happening?
I want to toss it over to
It took about 4 or 5 seconds for a lot of us to recognize that, first of all, firecrackers shouldn't be lit or ignited at an event like this, so there was something suspicious about it, even though it sounded like firecrackers. There was a pretty quick realization this was something much more dangerous. And let me be unequivocal about something. This is a security failure of epic, historic proportions. That there was some type of explosive noise. The former president had to be tackled and taken off stage by a Secret Service with blood appearing to come from his head. That a crowd of thousands at a presidential rally had to hit the ground, some of them colliding with each other, equipment falling on their heads and our heads at one point. No matter what this ends up being, this was a security failure at an event that is secured by the U.S. Secret Service and any number of other law enforcement agencies, where everybody in the space had to be screened and wanted by metal detectors and officers. It's just calamitous as a failure.
We're getting new reporting in, Scott. Our Olivia Rinaldi, who was there, says that they see some blood on the bleachers. We're also hearing
stuff like that.
Getting some more information here. We're also hearing that the president is off-site. And Jane, what did you just say?
Matter of fact, if you know somebody somebody want to buy that trail,
we now have Robert Costa joining us on the phone. Bob, will tell us.
I've had a lot of weird days.
Do we have Bob? We lost Bob.
But
Scott, we're going to bring you back in here. We
can schedule, man.
Scott, can you hear me?
Hey, Scott.
Scott, you know, what you described there is, you know, we've seen these rallies hundreds of times. This is not the first time that, you know, the former president has held a rally like this. They really should have this security protocol down. But like you said, clearly there was a breach. Clearly there was some kind of issue here for shots to have rung out, not only before you saw the president duck down, but afterward. We are reporting that there were shots that were fired after the fact, after he was carried out on stage.
Well, that'll work too then.
We heard a long sequence of explosions. Again, that's at about the 5-minute mark of this rally. After we all recognized these are likely, if not potentially gunshots, we all took cover. And I'll admit we lost our view of the stage at that point. You can see it's all askew right now. The sign is off center. Things are toppled. Chairs are toppled. There's a helicopter going overhead right now. I also saw at one point, after the former president was removed, a set of law enforcement or responders, some in paramilitary gear, you know, that camouflage gear with helmets, run toward the left side of the podium, from my perspective, it would have been the former president's right, and focus on someone or something about 50 to 100 feet to the left, to the camera's left of where former President Trump was speaking, to the former president's right side. That happened about maybe 60 seconds, 90 seconds after the explosive noises occurred. But law enforcement now appears to be growing in number on site. I see more vehicles, more flashing lights than I did when the speech began, and they have moved this crowd out of this area, out of the area immediately around the stage.
Scott, this is now a crime scene, and we're hearing from our reporter Olivia Rinaldi, who is there. That crime scene tape is being put up. The area, like you said, is being cleared, and now this is a live investigation that the Secret Service is involved in. I want to bring in our Bob Costa, who's been speaking to Trump sources all day. Bob, what have you heard?
This is an event that set off a seismic explosion inside of American political circles. Top Democrats and top Republicans working the phone already with me, asking me if they're hearing anything. They're trying to reach Donald Trump and his advisors. This is a shocking event to have an alleged shooting at a campaign event for the presumptive nominee just days before the convention opens in Milwaukee.
I'll be back on, guys.
Let me
restart it.
President, 78 years old, seemed to be by